Then we will move on to new business. Item 7 and A is the food service prime vendor bid contract renewal.
Again, everybody has that handout, but if you need one, it's extras.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, Mr. Brenner.
I am looking for approval to renew our current prime vendor bid with Reinhardt. When I wrote the contract up for this year, I put in the language to possibility of renewal for a second year, knowing that there would be an increase in food costs and hoping that the contract would be beneficial to the district. And just by sitting down and looking at what we currently are spending to date of April and comparing it to last year, we do have an increased price and expenses, but we've also saved because we've eliminated a secondary vendor, which we used last year, and we eliminated them because there was not an item that they actually were able to sell us that was lower than the price that Reinhardt had for their items, so their prices were lower. And also there was a competitive pricing with Pepsi Cola where we bought our Propels. Because Reinhardt carried the same product and was significantly lower, Pepsi wanted to keep our business and match their price. So just currently with those three together, looking at Reinhardt, Indian Head Foods, and Pepsi Cola, from our previous school year to this school year, to date we have saved over a little of $7,000. And that goes along with some other incentives that I threw into the current contract with brand incentives, so current labels that Reinhardt carries and uses that only Reinhardt carries, we get an incentive, a decreased price on that. So, and then also with the competitive pricing with Pepsi Cola and a drop size incentive, so the larger volume that Reinhardt drops off, they give us a certain amount back. So I would like to renew that current contract. Any questions?
So moved to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second then to approve the presented food service prime vendor contract renewal. Is there any further discussion? I have a question. Do you monitor usage?
Yes.
And how has that been? I'm just wondering with...
In comparison to...
Like a past year. I mean, usage, student participation in lunch. Or...
Participation-wise, it's almost identical to what it was last year. Not a huge... I would say there's a slight decrease, and that's been recent with the weather. Looking at the high school itself, there are a lot more kids don't actually come in there when the weather's nice. They go elsewhere. They got time to go to Culver's, McDonald's, Burger King, wherever else, but it's minor. So otherwise, participation's been pretty much the same as it was last year.
Good.
And I know Jesse would love to come back and do a report on the food service
would he?
program at some point in time. So.
Okay.
What meal appears to be the favorite meal of students? Do you keep track of?
I do. I keep track of every entree and every meal. So what I'll do is I'll look at its usage 3 times. So, and we have a 20-day cycle that we currently use. So pretty much the average school month is 19.33 days. So it works out perfectly that you have everything once a month. So after 3 months of having that entree, I look at, did it go up, did it go down, did it stay the same? And I would say chicken nuggets, chicken patties, and chicken strips, unfortunately, are actually the high volume items that you see the most participation in. And you see less participation in things like meatloaf, Salisbury steak, things that maybe that were comfort foods 50 years ago that aren't necessarily comfort foods now.
Grilled cheese and tomato soup is still my favorite.
And so when you go to make these, when you project the budget, is there actually a percentage that you calculate of participation? I mean, getting back to that question, do you have a number that you project certain percentage you're always going to eat lunch? I mean, is there any...
When I look at budgeting next year, say for revenue, I'll look at our participation this year, and then I'll just take what our lunch ticket prices are going to be and what the federal government is going to give us in reimbursement, and then it'll give us a general idea of I guess, what we're looking at for revenue. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, roughly what is the percentage for lunch participation?
We're around above 70%, 75%. In comparison to some other school districts, Sparta's at about 78%, West Salem's around 72, 74%, and Holman's around 87%. So Holman's actually quite high, which I'd love to compete with them and get there sometime soon.
There you go.
Okay. Thanks.
Any further questions, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Ms. Bender.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you have a really good handle on what's going on, and
Thank you.
that's very helpful.